All right, everybody, welcome back to the Dark Spirits channel. Hey, we got a lot of good feedback from that last video, so I brought Dad back. Dad, welcome back.
Thanks, sir.
Want to give you a chance to try something different today. We're going to be checking out the Smoke Wagon Straight Bourbon Whiskey from Vegas. Check it out. All right, so Dad, before we get into this Smoke Wagon Bourbon, I do know that the company is based in Las Vegas, and what I understand is that they get their distillate from a third party. They don't say how long it's aged in Indiana or whatever, but basically the whole shtick for Smoke Wagon is that they take this distillate and it's aged in their warehouses in Nevada in the top floors, the highest rack. The point being that supposedly in that heat, it's pulling that whiskey in and out of the barrels and everything else, and it's supposed to give it a certain flavor profile. I do know that they also have a lot of rye in the mash bill, so I would expect this one to be, think along the lines of like maybe Wild Turkey or Four Roses, and that's pretty much all I got for now. One other thing, the brand Smoke Wagon, when I first heard about this, I was thinking like maybe like a wagon train or something, like a chuck wagon or something, but turns out that no, that is not the case. The Smoke Wagon they referred to is the old Colt pistol circa 1870s, and if you look on the bottle, on the logo, they'll have the two Colt pistols there. That's the company logo, also known as the Smoke Wagon. And like I think we were talking about in what was that?
Wyatt Earp.
The Wyatt Earp movie, Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Yeah.
Pull that Smoke Wagon.
You're gonna skin that Smoke Wagon or whatever. So I got the reference immediately on there. I'm gonna go ahead and open this bottle up, but while I'm doing that, you know, why don't you go ahead and give us like a Vegas story, since we do have a Vegas connection in the family.
Oh, wow, you know, Grandpa Cecil, my father-in-law, he lived out there for 10 years and actually knew everyone in Vegas. Whenever we went to Vegas, we were always the guests of the hotels. One of the biggest ones I had was he took us to a show. He worked at the old Frontier then. And we
Wait, the Frontier Casino?
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't even heard of that. I'm sorry.
We sat right up front. It was Lola Falana, way before your time, but you could almost reach out and touch her. And
wait,
anyway,
what was she wearing?
She had a long gown, you know, it was real.
Oh, okay, like a Vegas showgirl kind of.
Yeah,
okay, with the glimmer and shimmer and all that.
It was the old Vegas.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So we go to this show, and I mean, everything's beautiful. We're up front, we're sitting. You know, toward the end of the show, the maitre d' comes, and he hands me a bill. And his bill is like $600. And I'm like,
wait, what year is this?
This is back in the 70s.
In the 70s. All right, so $600.
80s, yeah.
All right, so that's about $1,500 now, basically.
Yeah, that's
okay.
quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at my daddy-in-law like, oh man, what'd I do? He said, just sign it. Yes, to the hotel.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's it. They just took care of it.
We went with Cecil. We were always guests of the hotel. So
shout out.
And he knew the old Vegas. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of people don't know the old Vegas the way it was.
Is that the old Vegas Strip or downtown?
The Strip.
The Strip. Okay.
The big hotels. He knew everyone at the big hotels, so it was always.
Yeah, I know.
Always something. He could always get you in. People say, "Well, I tried to get this ticket, that ticket, whatever." I talked to Cecil or C-Note.
C-Note.
And bam, yeah.
C-Note.
You right there, and you right up front. So he always took care of us. Zickfield and Roy was another one that.
I heard of them. Shout out.
Elephant disappear, and I'm like right here, and he's gone. Like, how do you do that? I mean, so. Anyway.
Yeah, so your Vegas stories are a lot different than mine. On mine, my Vegas story is trying to save as much money as possible, so I got money left for like the buffet at the Wynn or something. But you know, different time, different place. Hey, shout out to Cecil, C-Note. We'll virtually pour out a little something.
That's right.
Lola Falana, all of that. Good story. Now let's go ahead and get into the nosing and the tasting.
All right. Let me sniff here.
All right, so we're gonna get our sniff on.
Do they use on this? Just oak?
They do not say specifically, but it should be oak. If it is labeled as a straight bourbon whiskey, it has to be a new American oak. And because it's straight, you know that it's at least 2 years old, and it cannot have any added colors or flavors or anything else.
Smells like a bourbon.
Let's take a look.
straight bourbon.
Oh, on the nose, yeah, this definitely smells like a bourbon. What about the legs? Are you getting a lot of, you getting any legs on here?
Pretty color.
It says this is 92 proof. 92 proof.
Oh.
Nice color. It looks, I mean, you know, if it doesn't also, if it doesn't have an age statement on it specifically, you know it's 4 years old. So, you know, this is, you know, between probably 4. I think anytime if it's more than 4 years, they'll put it on there because that's a selling point. Like they wouldn't have a 10-year bourbon and then not say 10 years because that's a marketing tool. On the nose, what I got? A bourbon. It doesn't give me a lot of booze on here. But it's also 90 proof, so 92 proof. So that's like I think Woodford Reserve is 92 proof also, just to give you an idea of the strength on here. Nothing really standing out on the nose. Let's go ahead and go in for the taste. Let's do
the smoke wagon.
Yeah, let's skin it. Do one sip first to kind of let it hit your palate, and then come back for the second one. All right, I'm going in for the round 2.
No real aftertaste. I mean, the aftertaste is not bad at all. This is a real bourbon whiskey.
Whew. This
It bites, don't it?
This is a bourbon. Now, full disclosure, before this video earlier, I know that you were eating some steak and eggs. Shout out to my wife. She killed that ribeye. Man, that ribeye, the soup. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, you had steak and eggs earlier. So, man, I am getting a lot of spice on here. A lot of spice on here. This is like, okay, like when you drink this, I feel like you know you're having a drink.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a spicy bourbon. This is a spicy bourbon. It hits the palate. On the finish is long. Like I'm still.
It's nice and warm. You can just feel it kind of trickle down. You know. Yeah. But yeah, it's bourbon whiskey. There's no doubt.
This is a. Do you think it's hot for 90 proof or not?
Yeah, it seems a little warm.
I think that's what I'm saying. I can't tell. It does seem. I couldn't tell if it's just because of the spice from the flavor or if it's just hot overall.
Yeah,
but
it's spicy and warm.
Yeah, I would say it's a little hot for a 90 proof bourbon.
And it stays. I mean.
Yeah, the finish is kind of staying here. But let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is what I would say, then I'll let you finish. All right, so I would say that the nose, you don't get really anything in particular. Standard bourbon. On the palate, I'm getting a lot of rye on here. I would say that it's hot for a 90 proof bourbon, and it has a long finish. I don't know what it is, but this finish is long on here. And usually these lower proof bourbons don't have a long finish, so I don't know if it's the mash bill or I don't know. It's something different, but I would say this. There is something different about this. This doesn't remind me of anything else that I've had before. So I guess that's good. But in all fairness, I also don't drink a lot of MGP. MGP is like the contractor who sources a lot of whiskey for a lot of people. Like there's one place that makes a lot of the barrels for people. So MGP is supposedly where they get their distillate from and then they age it. Could be I'm just not had a lot of MGP. Maybe somebody who has will know immediately that's what I'm tasting, but that's what I got. All right, let me know what you got, Dad.
I would think that if you wanted to drink a bourbon whiskey, this is a bourbon whiskey to drink. I mean, there's no doubt what you're drinking. It is a little warm, and it hangs. it hangs with you. I mean, you can feel it going down, and you know you're drinking bourbon. It just seems hotter than what we've been drinking before.
I'd agree with that than some of the other whiskeys we've had. It's probably, if I remember right, this might have been $40, maybe 40 to 45 bucks. So it's definitely in that category it's competing in, is that everyday drinker thing. I know that people started going crazy over this, which again, like I told y'all, usually once people start going crazy over something, I'm going in the opposite direction because I just like doing something different. But I mean, I can kind of see how people would kind of like this because it's something new. I mean, it definitely tastes quality. I don't feel like this is like crap. I don't feel like this is like the reject stuff. I think it's a solid bourbon. So I don't know. What I will do is, on a long-term review, you guys know how I do. this is the initial reaction. I'll finish this bottle off and I'll come back for the long-term review and let you know what I think. But so far, I think for 45 bucks, I don't have any problems with it just yet. We'll see what happens. Dad, you got anything else for him before we sign off?
Same class as Basil Hayden. I like Basil Hayden.
Ah, see, it's that rye.
Yeah.
Basil Hayden has a lot of rye in it also, so maybe that's what you're tasting.
So yeah, so that's kind of familiar. That's like home. But like I say, if you want to drink a bourbon whiskey, it's a bourbon whiskey you drink, and you know what you're drinking.
I agree with you 100%. Hey guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Be safe out there. We out.
Peace.